Hi there, and welcome to 15 Minutes of Shame. I'm Tristan.
I'm Brendan. Well, to all you viewers listening out there, I hope you're having a wonderful day.
To those of you driving to work right now, I say good on you. Let all of your cares wash away. Focus on the sound of my voice, and not the Prius that just flipped you off for riding him too close. Sure, he's eco-friendly, and you're spewing garbage out your tailpipe, but if you want to destroy the planet, that's your right.
To those of you who accidentally clicked the play button on here, you may have thought it was an accident, but it's actually just predestination at work, so settle in.
And before I forget, today's episode is brought to you by Goodwill. Goodwill. If you want half a puzzle or a book by Bill Cosby, shop at Goodwill. Well, let's get to the week's news, folks. President Donald Trump this week commented on his daughter Ivanka Trump's use of a personal email account to send hundreds of emails, saying that her actions are, quote, different than Hillary Clinton's. Of course she's different than Hillary Clinton. Look, I would never date Hillary Clinton, okay? What a nasty woman.
In a well-publicized speech this week, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman did not once mention the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Meanwhile, in Trump's speeches,
well, I respect the move, but the entire thing has been a witch hunt, and there is no collusion. Now we're being hindered by the Russian hoax. It's a hoax, okay?
it was announced that the 2019 White House Correspondents' Dinner will not feature a headlining comedian for the first time in 16 years. Instead, they invited historian Ron Chernow. A lot of people are upset about this, but I'm not so sure. I really just want to see him doing stand-up like there's been no change.
Well, there's a lot of racism in this country nowadays. Almost as much as there was during the Reconstruction era. No. Man, tough crowd. Tough crowd. But not as tough a crowd as old Alex Hamilton's at the Constitutional Convention. Eh?
Scientific research has claimed that 536 AD was the worst year to be human. Well, thanks for screwing us all, guys. If there's one thing Donald Trump doesn't like to be, it's second.
2018 is not over yet. Hold my beer, folks. In a poll taken by CNN this week, 1/3 of parents will skip giving their kids flu shots this year, while the other 2/3 will skip going to the morgue. Last Tuesday was... Hey, Brennan?
Yeah?
You eating potato chips, buddy?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So, did we talk about eating during the podcast?
Yes, we did, yes.
So, are you gonna offer me any, or?
Yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah, here you go.
All right, thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. All right, back to the news. Last Tuesday was World Toilet Day, a day created to wipe out the stigma and taboo against toilets. Taboo against toilets? We all love our home toilets. The only reason there's taboo against toilets is because we always have to use gross public restrooms, so the taboo's reasonable. I would have a taboo against anything if it had a stranger's pubic hair on it. If someone said you're getting a brand new car, I'd go like, man, that's pretty sweet. But if someone said that car has a stranger's pubic hair on it, I'd be like, nah, man, I'm good. Give that car to someone else.
It was reported this week that Kim Kardashian hired private firefighters to combat the California wildfires in order to protect her home. Even worse, she ordered that the fire hoses only spray Evian water. NASA is currently investigating aeronautics company SpaceX after its CEO Elon Musk was shown smoking weed on a podcast. So this man attaches a car to a rocket ship and then blasts it into space, and they're just starting this investigation now? That's hardly the work of a drug-free man. I feel like he was just sitting around one day at the company like, hey man, you know, it would be really neat. You know what we should do? And they tried to talk him out of it, and he was like, do you know who I am? I am Elon Musk. Damn it, I knew this one.
And finally, it was reported this week that after 2 decades of effort, The Leaning Tower of Pisa has recovered 4 centimeters and is starting to become straight. Said Mike Pence, so conversion therapy does work.
Well, Thanksgiving took place a few days ago, a wonderful day full of fun, food, and family. How was your Thanksgiving, Tristan?
Oh, it was fine. I really just have my mom and dad, so it's kind of just us 3 for Thanksgiving. Well, 4 if you count my grandfather's urn, which the U.S. Census Bureau does not.
Okay, well, my Thanksgiving was good too, actually. Thanks for asking. The stuffing was a little burnt, but you couldn't really...
Brendan, we're not really supposed to, talk about personal stuff while we're doing this.
Tristan, you just talked about your grandfather's urn.
So? I never really knew him. I mean, to me, he was just like a guy that took back pills.
Well, that was a nice little tidbit.
Well, listeners, we try to be as inclusive as possible on this show, and that includes trying to appeal to any teenagers like ourselves that may be tuning in. And as we know only too well, us teenagers have issues. I'm not just talking about stuff like what to watch on Netflix. I mean real issues, like what to watch on Hulu. And so, with that in mind, I would like to turn now to our special correspondent, Dad, in a segment we're calling The Hormone Zone.
Well, put down that Fortnite, kids, because Dad's here to talk to you about the issues in your lives. Today, we'll be talking about spending Thanksgiving with your family. Every year on this Turkey Day, we sit around the table and we say what we're thankful for. I certainly know what I'm thankful for. Our Lord Jesus Christ and that government welfare keeps an old man on his feet. But you know what the best part of Thanksgiving is? After the meal, where you go outside to play a good old game of Thanksgiving football with the fam, as you kids call it these days. Just take it easy when you're tackling an old timer like me. Goodness knows these knees aren't as sturdy as they used to be back in the good old days. Why, I could run the 40 in a 4.39. All the colleges wanted a piece of me. I should have played wide receiver for Ole Miss, but they picked up that pretty boy Cole Dawson instead. He didn't have the hands, but his old man had deep ties to the school, and I was a nobody, so of course Cole got the scholarship. Lord knows I don't look him up on Facebook every week, even now. Sure, he's rich and has that supermodel arm candy, but at least I've got Old Faithful, a nice cool bottle of Jack Daniels. Doesn't replace the thrill of a woman in your arms, but at least it's something. At least it's something. Well, I'm sorry, guys. You really didn't need to hear that. I went a little off the beaten path there. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.
Well, Dad, I'm sorry, but that's all the time we have. Dad, everybody, put your hands together.
What have I become?
Good question.
Well, back in the days of the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt calmed an anxious nation with a series of radio broadcasts he called Fireside Chats. Now, in these crazy times, we as a country might need that reassurance more than ever. In that spirit, our Commander-in-Chief has agreed to sit down and broadcast his own style of messages. So, without further ado, here is the first installment of Donald Trump's Fireside Tweets.
Hello, America. It's your president, Donald J. Trump, and there's a 50% chance I'm sitting on the toilet right now, watching old episodes of The Apprentice. The toilet's gold-plated, that I can tell you. As many of you may remember, one of my predecessors would deliver radio broadcasts to the nation called Fireside Chats. This man's name was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR. 3 letters I hate almost as much as CNN. He was one of the Dems, but hate him or not, he held 4 terms. You have to respect that. Think of what I could do with 4 terms. But listen, it's no secret that we live in a divided nation. So I'd like to speak to all of you across the political spectrum. Whether you're Republican, conservative, or alt-right, I think we can all agree that the only thing to fear is fear itself. And of course the migrant caravan spilling across our southern border like gravy. We don't want the gravy infecting those pure American mashed potatoes, do we, folks? Of course not. While we're on the subject, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. You know, people don't actually know the story of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is complicated. I think I know more about Thanksgiving than a lot of people, actually. Those brave pilgrims crossed the Antarctic Ocean and landed at The Rock. Tremendous actor, absolutely tremendous. They faced many hardships, disease, famine, George Soros. But like true Americans, they fought on. They were helped, of course, by the brave Indians, Squanto, Powhatan, Pocahontas, the good Pocahontas, of course. She didn't have to take a DNA test. She was a real Indian. These people were the earliest Americans, and their traditions continue to inspire us. Every Thanksgiving, just like all of you regular hard-working folk, I sit around my polished mahogany table, laden with discontinued Trump steaks, next to my Slovenian supermodel wife. We all can relate. Well, I need to wrap this up. I just got a text from Vlad. Before I go, I just want to say I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And please buy from Ivanka's clothing line on Cyber Monday. Vlad, you up?
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of 15 Minutes of Shame, everyone.
Be sure to tune in next time, where we read our cease and desist letter from Goodwill on the air. And whether you're rich or poor, white or black, short or tall, Republican or Democrat, just remember, nearly 3% of the ice in Antarctic glaciers is penguin urine.
What?
It had to be said.